Hello everyone, welcome to Australia, welcome to Australian Book Travels and to this week's book recommendations and chit chat. First off, for those of you who have just joined the channel, Happy New Year, and we hope you had a lovely Christmas. This year is full of promise, as every year is, every day. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year, I think, both personally and for the channel. So anyway, welcome if you've only just joined the channel, and Happy New Year. It's hot. Now, I am recording this on Sunday, I think it's the 12th today, for you tomorrow, which is Monday the 13th of January. 2025. I'm doing that. I'm going to try and do that a little more often, if not permanently now. But today I'm doing it because tomorrow I have a very good old friend. And when I mean old friend, I mean a long-term friend. I used to work with this friend and we became good friends. She's coming tomorrow for lunch. So I thought, look, I will deliver this, record it today and have it up for you tomorrow so that I don't forget in the rush of things, or it'll be on my mind and I'll be panicking and worrying. So I thought today I do have to go out this afternoon for some grocery items for tomorrow, and I just have a little bit of shopping to do. So I thought, right, I'll do it this morning, and then I know that you're then going to have this video up tomorrow. So, itchy nose, it is so hot, everyone. I think overnight it was in the 20s, 20 degrees. It might have been 23, 24, something like that. I'll have to confirm that. But it was so hot. We had all the ceiling fans on and windows open. Yeah, and again, as usual, I'm already perspiring, so I do apologise. And so now I'm itchy because I'm perspiring. Sorry, everyone. Okay, lots happening now, lots has happened. Just an update on the chickens. We now have 6 live chicks, 3 that we have had to hand rear. They are now outside on a temporary basis, and then they come inside for protection in the evening. The other 3, of course, are with the initial hen, the really good mother, who is looking after them, and she's doing a wonderful job, and they're thriving. The other 3 are also thriving, but it's a lot of work for us because the other mother motherhood is not. It is not natural, it doesn't come naturally to some, and it certainly doesn't come naturally to her. She is terrible. She is a terrible mother. She wants to be good. You can see, she's nesting and all of that, but she's a terrible mother. And I think now we've lost about 6. So we've probably half successful and half not. It's terrible. So anyway, that's an update on that. We lost another little one overnight, which was a shame. We were fighting hard for that little one this last week, but we lost her during the night. So it's always really sad, and it really tugs at me. But that's, we do our best, and we just have to accept that they really were behind the 8 ball before before they even began, really. But anyway, so that's an update on the chickens. It is hot. It is so hot. I feel as though the air is so thick. I feel as though I can't move fluidly. It's really hot, everyone. The fans, as I say, the fans are going, and yet it's overcast. It looks as though it's going to rain. We have been promised rain. We are hoping for rain because we desperately need it. Probably more than ever in the 13 years that we've lived here, I think. Yeah, it must be 13 years now. Although the garden is only around about between 7 and 10 years, because we started the garden in stages, it's only between 7 and 10 years old, but it's the worst it's ever looked. Everything is really thirsty and we just can't pump out that water quick enough. And we also try to get the plants to adapt. We try not to water them every day. In fact, we try to sort of spread that to once a week. Sometimes that's impossible, but we're trying to get the plants to really adapt and just be able to withstand the heat and the dry. We have ordered water. I ordered water this last week because we are on tank water. We are a little desperate for water, so we're just waiting for the water courier to let us know when they're going to deliver. But it may be, if they don't come shortly, we may have to ask them to hurry along. We don't like to ask them to hurry along at this time of year because we know that they're really under the pump, so to speak, because everybody's wanting water. So we try to be as accommodating as possible. But and they did ask us, are you desperate for water? And last week we weren't so much, but I think if it goes on for too much longer, then we will be. So fingers crossed they let us know this week that they're going to deliver, because, yeah, it's dry and it's hot. Okay, everyone. Oh, another update. Snake. Mr. or Mrs. Brown snake, still around. I was led to believe that they're not territorial, that they sort of move through. The eastern brown snakes will move through looking for a mate. This one, unless we have multiple, but this one, or ones, they're hanging around. And the other day, Mark very kindly organised a lovely trip to our local cinema. It's an independent cinema, to go and see Paddington, the latest Paddington movie, which I love. I love Paddington. And which was wonderful, by the way. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But just before we left, Mark saw the snake under the car, and he clearly, walking past, he scared the snake and it went under the car completely. And of course we were concerned. He didn't see where it went. We couldn't find it, and we were concerned it was in the car. It may have gone into the wheel arch. And not wanting to hurt them, we did have to check under the wheel arches to make sure that we didn't roll over it when we moved the car. We didn't want to kill it. But then, of course, when we got in the car, we were concerned because we thought any noise that we heard in the car, inside the car, we thought, we hope that's not the snake. But anyway, it doesn't appear to have been. He may have obviously slithered off without Mark seeing properly where he went, or she. So that's still a concern, everyone. The dogs are not allowed out. They're on lead all the time, or within our eyesight and within our calling distance. We check before we let them outside. We check and make sure the snake is not around. Then we let them out to go to the toilet and a bit of fresh air, and then they come back in immediately. And then, of course, I let them out very early in the morning when it's cooler and the sun's not quite up. And then in the evening, we let them out for a bit of a run. Still within our eyesight, but we let them out for a run. We just cannot afford to have any of us, the dogs or us, or the cat, bitten, because probably the dogs wouldn't survive the trip to the vet, and of course we don't know how we would react. Well, and we don't want to be bitten. Who wants to be bitten with the second most venomous snake in the world? No thanks. So yeah, we're being really careful. Okay, enough chit chat. I always ramble on, and I apologise. A few books this week. Well, I'm only going to show you 2 this week, but there is something else I want to let you know. So the first one, I think last week I showed you some books that I bought from England, from Tea Leaves and Reads. I told you that I was not going to read them until I had started other books on my to-be-read pile. I fibbed. I looked at these books and thought, oh gosh, I'm really eager to read them. So I'm sorry, everyone, but I didn't intentionally fib. But it turns out yeah, I did have to start reading some of them because I was just so eager. So, The Peach Keeper. Oh, everyone, hope they're... The Peach Keeper by Sarah Addison Allen. Now, this is an American writer. It is an American story. It is at the Walls of Water in North Carolina. It is set. The Peach Keeper. Now, the title really had me intrigued. I loved the title. I loved the cover. I thought that was beautiful. This was on special when I bought it. It was on special from Tea Leaves and Reads. And I have never read Sarah Addison Allen before, but this was beautiful, beautiful. Now, I might just say for these next few books, I am English heritage. I grew up with English parents, with English traditions, English spelling. I grew up here in Australia when English grammar was paramount. And so when I ever read anything American, I start twitching, that the spelling just, I can't help it. It is a personal thing, but it irritates me. So to be honest with you, I haven't read a lot of American authors unless the story is based in America. And I think, okay, I can, if it's an American author with an American story, I can understand their spelling. However, if, as just recently, or a couple of years ago, I read an Australian author with an Australian story and Americanisms within the story, and it was a historical story, I was really disappointed. I was not impressed at all. But American author, American story, and American spelling. I glossed over that. This story is beautiful. It's original. There are love stories in it, but not too sickly sweet, not too saucy, just really lovely human love stories and connections. There is a mystery in this, an historical mystery, and there's food and books. You know, food and books, it's just a combination I can't go past. Absolutely beautiful. Now, as I say, there's really sort of one protagonist, but I guess you could argue that there are a couple in this story. We have a young girl who grew up in this town, went away, comes back, and she came back a few years ago and she's lost both parents. She is running a shop, and she becomes entangled, I guess is a word I can use. She becomes involved and entangled in her family and a very distant school friend, her family story at a particular property that is being developed. I thoroughly enjoyed this. What I really loved about it, apart from the fact that it's feel good, it's not sickly feel good, it's genuine in its presentation, in its delivery, but it was feel good. You know, there are some tense moments, but overall, I left with a smile. I thought it was well written, a beautiful story, original in its delivery, original in its storyline. I just loved it. I really do recommend this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, it's original in its content, and we have a number of things going on in the story. And there were just some lovely moments, some really lovely, uplifting, believable moments. There is, I will say too, there is a little bit of, it's Gothic. It has Gothic elements in it, although for all intents and purposes it isn't. But I picked up on a Gothic theme through it. It's also a little bit, there's a little bit of magic, sort of fantasy, but it's believable. And it actually reminded me to some degree of Joanna Harris's Chocolat, which is actually one of my favourite novels and favourite movies, I might just add, with Juliette Binoche and Johnny Depp. I absolutely love it. It is, it's one of those comfort movies for me that I always go back to, mainly because it's beautiful, beautiful acting, beautiful story, but it's also chocolate and the effect that food can have on you. So yes, I really felt that there was a little element of that, because in Chocolat we have a little bit of, and the subsequent, the sequels, there is a little bit of magic, or what can be perceived as magic. So the Peach Keeper delivered for me. It was really lovely. I couldn't put it down. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I do really, really recommend it. Do yourself a favour this year for 2025. This is the sort of novel that you could take away, or that you should take away on a weekend, a long weekend away, or if you're going down to the beach and you're just wanting to take a deep breath out of and put away all the technology and just immerse yourself in a lovely, feel-good mystery and romance. It's just beautiful. Really, really lovely. Now, one I was really looking forward to. Oh, before we go on to that, I may have told you this already. This is 314 pages. I may have told you that last week, but 314. So it's a decent read, and it is by, it was published in, this is actually an old one. I think last week I told you that the books were all 2024, but this wasn't. This was first published in 2011, actually, it says here. First published in paperback in 2012. This is by Hodder and Stoughton. So that's that one. Now, the next one that I was really looking forward to, that did not disappoint either, and I read these back to back. This is The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. Chelsea Iverson is the author. She is an American. This is an English story. There is American spelling in this, and it did sort of jar me a little bit, but that's me. That's just I glossed over that because I was enjoying the story so much. But yeah, so now it's set in England in the 1800s. I think it's 1851. Let me just have a look. No, 1866, I beg your pardon, 1866. The one I'm reading at the moment is 1851. So this is 1866, and it begins, this is in February. The first page is set in February of 1866. There is a newspaper article where two people are missing, a husband and a wife, and then we go to 6 months earlier. This again, actually, I think I said that this was a little bit Gothic, didn't I? And that's not true. There's magic in it, but it's not Gothic. This one's Gothic. This is contemporary. And there is a little Gothic element to it, I guess. Not as much as this one. This one is Gothic. Definitely full on. It has all the elements, tick, 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 of a Gothic novel. This is about a young girl. Bit of a warning, there is abuse in this from a father and a husband. So there is that domestic violence element. Not too graphic, sad, very sad, but also perhaps a little bit indicative of the time where women were considered chattels, particularly in England. Women were considered chattels of men. So there is that mixed in with a little bit of domestic violence as well, where men thought that they could do that anyway. They had a right to. But Harriet Hunt has a she has a beautiful garden. That's another reason why I was drawn to this. She has a beautiful garden. Both parents have left, we believe. And she's on her own. I think she's about 23. And she's on her own in the family home with her garden. Now, the home has horrible memories for her. It's dirty, dusty and horrible, but she loves her garden. And the garden it does have magical and Gothic themes through it. There is those elements for sure. It is really sad, but it's also, there's an empowering of women or a woman in this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. There are some shenanigans that go along. She meets people who are not all they seem to be. She's naive. She has never been allowed out the front or outside the property. And of course, without any restrictions, she then starts exploring outside the property. Apart from her garden, she's always been in the garden. The garden works in Harriet's favour. It moves and behaves according to her emotions. I'm going to say this and you'll probably all guffaw at this, but not totally unbelievable. When you think that scientific studies have shown that trees have certain elements. I don't know if any of you have read this. If you haven't, I recommend you do. That there have been studies where when one tree is dying, it sends off through the root system and through hormones, it sends off notification to other trees that it's dying, and the other trees take the goodness out of that tree. Whatever the dying tree can give, it sends out to other trees. And there have been studies on movement of plants and the reaction of plants as to what happens when they're given water or when they're sung to and spoken to and all of that. It's really interesting. And we've even, just as amateurs, Mark and I have sort of done similar things here where you're nurturing and talking to a plant. It's interesting to see how you can feed the plants the same, but how when you talk to one and you show favour to one, how it grows and blossoms compared to others. It's interesting. I mean, we're not scientists. We just did that and we do that as a bit of an amateur sort of look into how plants behave. But there are scientific studies on it. So if you haven't already, I do encourage you to look at that because it's interesting. But that therefore makes this not, I mean, of course it's magic, but it's not totally unbelievable. Sort of, but not really. And when you read it, you'll understand what I mean, I hope. This was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I loved Harriet. Again, there was sadness through it, but it was, I don't know, there was a feeling of empowerment and certainly there were times too when I was holding my breath. I just thought, oh my goodness, this is not good. But it works out not necessarily the way you'd think, but it works out. I'm not going to tell you how it works out, but it does work out. Really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. That's The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. I like her writing, by the way. I like Chelsea's writing. It's very, there's something magical, and also with the Peacekeeper. I just found these two books, sort of just the style of writing was excellent. It was beautiful. It was well, both of them were they were well written. This one a little bit more simple in its delivery. A lot more going on in the prose here in this one, but both of them were magical, and when I mean the style of writing, not just the stories, but the style of writing they were magical. They were beautiful in their delivery. I thoroughly enjoyed these, despite the spelling. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I'm so glad I started the year with them. Hopefully that puts me on a good footing for the rest of the year. I love these. I would recommend them to anyone, I think. And they have a lot to say. Like a lot of novels, you can read into a novel what you want to read into. But these are about, this one is about strength, sisterhood, having strength throughout your life, regardless of what is sent your way. And that we can, through adversity, you can still be your own person. You may be a little different. You may be woven in a different way, but you are still who you are, and you can be better for it. You can be better for those things in life that are thrown at you, good and bad. And the Peacekeeper that's about friendship and understanding, and not judging others first or judging a story at first glance or first being told, to do your own investigating. Yeah, as I say, so I do apologise. This is not as Gothic as this one. There are Gothic elements in this. It's a little bit of magic, but I would say that out of the two, this is definitely, this ticks all the boxes as a Gothic novel, but absolutely beautiful, both of them. Thoroughly recommend them. I so enjoyed them. And if Chelsea Iverson and Sarah Addison Allen, if this is their theme, I think I will really be reading a lot more of their novels. This, Catherine at Tea Leaves and Reads said that she really loved Sarah Addison Allen, and I can see why. Absolutely beautiful. And so this one. Now, and as I say, they're both American writers. Now, to finish off today, I really wanted to make this short today for you all. Last week I showed you The Crew Train by Rose Macaulay. Now, I won't go into the story, but this week Abby's bookshop in New South Wales sent me this copy. Apparently I had ordered it quite like 6 months ago, and they had to order it in, and I'd forgotten that I had ordered it. I bought my copy that I showed you last week. I bought that. It was just sort of like at a discarded and discounted bookshop. And I'd forgotten that I'd already bought it. So this is a brand new copy. It still has Abby's sticker on the back. And also Tea Leaves and Reads last week I showed you. They gave me a second Take the New Year one page at a time with a Tea Leaves and Reads business details on the back. This is a beautiful bookmark. I'm going to give this away to one of you, but I'm going to make it a bit of a competition. We really do need to boost up our numbers, everyone. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this, but if you are interested, what I'd like to do is try and boost up our subscribers, try and boost up our viewing hours. I know that doesn't affect you, but it is really important for us and for the channel to continue to exist and to grow. So in order to get those numbers up and the viewing hours, I'm going to see if there is a way that I can ask you to share our channel, and if there's a way that I can determine who's doing that. Does that make sense? So, you know, if if one of you are sharing it, the channel, then I need to be able to see that you are sharing it. And I'm going to make that a competition. So the more people you share it with will be the winner of this book for free. And we'll even pay post. Even if it's overseas, we're going to pay post for you. But there is a way, I don't know if any of you can come up with an idea as to how I can determine who is sharing and how many times you're sharing our channel. But just remember, this will be a book competition, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. If you are interested, I will pay post for the winner, but I just have to determine how I can know that all of you, whoever is sharing the channel and getting people to watch. So that will be a book win for you. I will pay post, or we will pay post with the beautiful bookmark. I just have to determine how we can assess who is sharing the channel and whether that translates into success. But that is for the next few weeks, everyone. I've just thought of that today, so give me time to determine how we're going to assess that. But if you want this book with a lovely bookmark, this is on offer. We just have to work out how we're going to run the competition. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know maybe next week. Give me a week and I should know how I can determine or how successful we're going to be with that. But this is brand new. It still has Abby's sticker on the back. I did pick this up. I think I picked it up. What's today? Sunday. So I picked it up, I think Thursday or Friday. It hasn't been touched apart from now. So that's a book competition in the future, in the next few weeks. Just have to determine how best to run that competition. The Peachkeeper, Sarah Addison Allen, Chelsea Iverson's The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. 2 books I absolutely recommend. I don't think you can, I just think they're beautiful. I don't think you can go wrong. I think they are beautifully written, poetically, actually. And this is particularly, this is particularly well written. It just has that old world feel, that, as I say, it is Gothic, but that old world feel to the writing. The other thing I liked about this is it did have reading group guide at the back, and so questions to make you think, and also a conversation with the author. So I really liked that. I thought that was really good. Now, the actual story, the novel, is 356 pages. Again, a decent size. They're around about the same size, just a little bit bigger. So, decent reads, but really worth the read. Really worth it. I love them. If you can accept a little bit of magic, I think a bit believable. Particularly, it's more your interpretation of that, I think, than it being magical. But yeah, absolutely love these 2. Okay, everyone, just be aware if you want to win. Let's see how we can run this competition, but it will be run in the next few weeks. Okay, I'm hot, I'm perspiring. I was hoping to get this really, really quick for you. I hope you all have a lovely week. Thank you to all of the new subscribers, to all subscribers, but to those of you who particularly, we had 14 new subscribers over the last 24 hours. And in the last week, we've had 20 or 30, I think. 30? Perhaps even more than that. Around about that. So we really do appreciate it. It's important. It's important too that we get people to view the videos, not just the subscribers, but also to view. Because first and foremost, that helps the channel grow. It helps us to be able to then take you to other places and explore other things that we can do on the channel. But more importantly, it is about spreading the word of Australian country towns, keeping them alive and thriving, independent bookshops, keeping them alive and thriving and expanding, increasing around Australia. Australian authors, Australian stories, Australian publishing houses. That's what this channel is all about. And chit chat. But it really is. We really, in our heart of hearts, this is what we're wanting to do. We want to spread the word about Australian authors, Australian stories, Australian publishing houses, Australian country towns, Australian bookshops. It's so important. We want to... we want to really help boost and not only keep them alive, but boost them and increase literacy as well, improve literacy. Reading, as we all know, it helps with stress, it helps with Alzheimer's, it also helps your knowledge base. The amount of people I know who don't read and who are really misinformed about a lot of things is incredible. So reading fiction is good for your stress levels and Alzheimer's, but reading non-fiction and your reference books and things like that is really important because you have a diversity of knowledge and it takes you places where your mind it takes you out of your comfort zone so that you can think about things. Anyway, I won't go on. I'm sure we all know the benefits of reading, but I just have to remind myself and everybody else every now and then. Never hurts, does it? Okay, I'm going off to melt. I hope you're all warm. If you're in a cool climate, I hope you're all warm. And if you're in a hot climate, I hope that you're keeping hydrated and cool. And I'm going to go. I have shopping to do. I have melting to do. I have to check the chickens and the dogs are all under the fan in the kitchen. And the cat, he's just been flat out for the last 3 days, I think, only getting up to eat. So as most of us are, it's just unbelievably hot, even though it's cloudy. I think the cloud keeps the heat in, so it makes it muggy and really humid. Okay, everyone, enjoy your week. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And I hope we're giving you interesting content. Sneaky midweekers have to start again soon. I don't know when, but it has been too hot to paint and do anything with the chicken run. So that won't be up for a while, I'm afraid, but perhaps I can get in another sneaky midweek or something else for you. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I really am going now. I'm melting properly. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy reading, safe travels, good eating. Bye for now.